Hello, Divine Ones. Welcome. This is One Divine Light, and today I'll be bringing through a message, a channeled message from the guides. And I will be speaking in both English and light frequency. The guides are going to be talking about a collective agreement to awaken, and they're going to be bringing through an energy attunement as well as an energy clearing. Dear ones, today we wish to talk about this awakening process that is happening in the collective and the agreement to the awakening. Although some of you might feel like you're not agreeing to the awakening. As we've said before, some come kicking and screaming and do not wish to be awoken from the slumber of like ignorance, if you would. So what are you ignorant of? The fact that all is divine and has always been divine. And we would say that this is the day, on this very day, as you know, time, that there is a quake, a crack, that is like opening. So they're showing me it like how you would see that in like a rock or something, like cracking open and separating. And from this separation, you will find the unity. So let's talk about this a little bit here. Before we do, we wish to offer an energy clearing and attunement, and then we would like to dive into our message, our central message. Okay, so let's do this then. Your heart and our heart is one heartbeat, as it has always been. One pulse of life. One pulse of light. So if you say yes and we say yes now, we wish to bring through the frequency of truth, support you through this process of ascension and awakening. And you see, because as you awaken, you ascend, but also as you ascend, you awaken. Many layers you see, like an onion. Many layers. And I say, they're bringing through an energy clearing now, to your physical body and your energy body, or bodies, layers of the body, the energetic body, however you might like to think about this, and this clearing that clears you like a multi-dimensionally in multiple realities which are stacked on top of each other. There is like a thin veil between realities, and it is getting thinner, where you may weave in and out of realities. We wish to support this because you might feel like you are going crazy, you might feel like you feel confused, and you might also feel like you've experienced the higher and then come back to the lower frequency, and you desperately want to go back to the higher. And we would say this is a part of the undoing process, that you will dip in and out of realities and timelines. You are moving in and out of them all the time. You might not realize that. We wish to do an energy clearing to support you through this process now. Yes, please begin. Inikiokotashi alakatasohi manasai shokwai. Oye kataishi awaikanorishi amraktaishi awoktishi awoktosho. Ebekia pakata sokeria kashkerete keresekere sokora sekerete keresekeresikia shkoratatashi. In a sokora sekerete keresekere in a sikio pokosase. In a seotoroko soshi amaya toroko soshi amaya la shi amai katasai. Nori shi opio kiai anai si okiamana shai so 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 iso kia paku daina shai kia pakuaya sai. And as I attunement now, thank you. Kia pakatai shaya korota karase shi kia pakotoshi. And in Ishia Borokto Toto Sukrasa and tuning you to the frequency of the melody, of the harmony, of the frequency that is Yorokroso, ever present in all things, Iaya Tai Shi, and outside of all things, Yorotokorso, that is ever present, omnipresent, Yorotokoroso. Within your presence is the presence, Yorokoroso Tipikatasai. Sanai shioroto koroso tu chiaparai nai kyowai saikyowai sikkyowai shi anawaktai shiki walktai shokia pakai nashaikia lana shoana si. Sanai kia paka lana saya kwara sai tia kara saya shikia pakai laina sokia pakata shi anaya toroko so chia pakata sai shia kata sai shi anasai shi nai shia Broktoso kia patai shinia mai kaite se kia pakata sai inia la shai kina sai shi kia pokotoso kia kata sai shi. Siawala wala saya wayala sai pi. Naya waya te kia pakata sai kia kokia pakata shia lai shikwai sai kiu tai. So kwiti shia lai you tai so kia pai ni shia kata sai kwai kita siu shikwai kia se kwai. Ukia kia utuea si kia bakara su amaya tua sa kia toro shikia. So kia bakata shai ikia pai he is so hai hiu toro show. Anaya sori shiakara satikia pakara satakara. We wish you to understand Iorokorosa that you are divine magic, if you would. Iorokorosa source energy. Okorosotakiakarasa courses through your veins, through every cell, through permeates everything, through all of existence. Iorotokoroso. And you, our dear Iokoroso, are pure magic. Iorotokoroso. And now you are being called to alchemize Iorotokoroso, your experience thus far. Iorotokoroso for the benefit of all. And we will speak more to this in the coming like days. So we will speak to this more. What we will say today is there is a collective agreement to awakening. And we wish to explain it like this. So if you could imagine that there is some anger that arises within you, but you push it down. There is some sadness that arises within you and you push it down. There is a desire that arises within you and you push it down. Or there is something within you that you deny rather than allowing to be seen, felt, heard, and allowing that to move through you. And instead of allowing it to move through you, you push it down or internalize it, or you have like a negative self-talk. All of this, there's only so much you can shove down, like a garbage can, if you would. There's only so much that will fit, and you could keep sticking your foot inside the can and shoving it down. So that's what they're showing me the vision of, and shoving it down, 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 and thinking, ha ha ha, I have fooled the system. I will just keep shoving it down. I will just keep taking the intuitive nudges that I keep receiving and saying, oh, I can't do that. Who am I to do that? There's not enough time, money, resources for me. I'm not qualified enough to do that. Whatever your like excuses are, and you take your light and you keep dimming your light. You say, like, I'll get to that after I do these 10 things, right? So like, I'll enjoy my life later. After I do all these things, that's when I'm going to take the time for myself. I'll just, do all this work, clean all these things, do all these things, and then I'm going to take the time for me. And you keep pushing the light down and putting other things on top of it. And there's only so many rocks you can put in the bin before the bin breaks, before the bag breaks, before the bag rips. There's only so many times you can stomp it down, whether that is your own internal divinity, or whether that is all of the feelings, emotions, things that have happened, things that you're avoiding. There's only so much stomping down that you can do before it's gonna like pop, like a Jack in the Box, the ones you used to wind up, pops like this, it's just gonna pop. And this is what you're seeing happening. So you can see this happening now within the collective. And there is a collective awakening. And as you awaken in this very similar way, you start to see everything that has been shoved under the surface. And so you can think of it like this, like that garbage can, you shoved everything down, 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 and eventually it starts to overflow. And when it overflows, you start to see it. And some of you might call it the shadow. And it is all of the conditioned responses, the conditioned ideas and beliefs. It is all the shame, blame, guilt around that. It is all of, even not shame, blame, guilt, all of the superiority, like I am better than, or, I'm looking over there and I'm saying, well, you're not doing that great. And if I have more money than you have, or I have more of something than you have, or I have more intellectual knowledge than you have, then that must mean that I'm doing much better. And this is all like being seen now, because it is coming to surface in that same way that a garbage bag would break, in the same way that a garbage can would crack, in that same way that it would be overfilled, it would start to burst at the seams. In that same way, when you start to feel something, you may start to feel one thing small, and then you may feel more and more, and you may not think that there's something else under the surface, but then anger might come up and it might surprise you. You might burst out laughing and that might surprise you at the absurdity of it all. You see, this is what is happening. And you might look around and think that this is very bad indeed, and what is the world coming to? And we would say it is not what the world is coming to, it is what it is awakening from and awakening to. You are all awakening from the deep sleep of separation, and you are awakening to the divinity, the inherent divinity in all things. And we do mean all things. There is and there are no exceptions here. All things are divine. You can no longer hold any one person or group of people in a shadow or darkness or this idea of a less than. Although some are trying to rewind the tape, the VHS, if you would, and bring you back to the Stone Ages, but it will not work. But what it will do is create enough shaking of the earth. It will put so many more rocks in the garbage can, if you would, that it will not be able to stand it. And it will crack. And then everything, and it is cracking. And then everything that's under the surface is being seen, and it must be seen. And this is individual and collective. Your life is an undoing of all things that have been done so that all that is can be embodied and can be experienced for the all, for the greatest good of the all. And it just takes one to live in that full embodiment. And as many of you are waking up to this now, more and more are being inspired. That's not quite it. So from one point of view, some are being inspired, but from another point of view, you are knowing that it is possible. So that vibration, this is beyond words. This is a vibration that is being felt. But it might not be the idea, it might not be familiar, but you feel the vibration, and it's like it stirs something within you. Some of you might feel like it's like a longing. Some might be feeling like it's a longing to belong, a longing for connection. And for some of you, it might feel like home. So there's not, one is not better than the other. We will say this, there is a collective awakening and there is an agreement to this, and they're showing it to me like a handshake. And each is playing their own part to the awakening. And you might look at a person or place or group of people and say, well, these people are bad and they don't have the best interest in the greatest good of all. So these people are very, so I'm using the word bad because that's what they're telling me. Yes, bad is a good enough word. This is a common language. Shakes the finger, they're showing me, shakes the finger. And these people shouldn't be doing this, they shouldn't be doing that, but we would say all has the role to play. And in some ways you can give like a thanks or a gratitude, because it is those that throw the rocks that eventually cause the biggest cracks and eventually cause that overflowing. And sometimes when you see this overflowing, you see it like a sewer or a septic. You see something like that you don't want to see, but that's what you've agreed to. Even some of you have agreed to it knowingly and unknowingly. But still it's there, and it must be seen, and it must be known, and it must be, more importantly, re-known as a divinity it has always been. And this is what we would say is probably the most challenging part, is not just in the knowing, but is in the re-knowing of a thing. A re-knowing of a thing in any relationship that you may have. You think you know a person, and so every day that you wake up, you expect them to do the things that they have always done, and you anticipate that they will, and you treat them according to that. But can you treat them like a blank slate? Can you treat it all as a blank slate? That's really the question. We would offer you the opportunity to consider that, however that might be for you. Now, as you see the ground shake and quake, and yes, we wish to use this word. I questioned them. They said yes. They wish to use this word, quake. Then you will see all that has been agreed to, and you may not like it. And some of you will judge it, and eventually you will all learn, realize, you will all realize that judging it will not help you. So what will help? Well, in some ways you don't need any help, and in other ways there are practical things that will help. But we would say the most important thing, as always, it has been our message since the start, is to be. It is everything that you continue to pile on top of the garbage, on top of the self made ideas, but the collective ideas. You have collectively agreed to things. You have collectively agreed to the idea that the sky is blue. You have collectively agreed to a tree is a tree is a tree. You collectively agreed to this is what good is and this is what bad is. You have agreed to the language. You have agreed to the landscape. You have agreed to it all. You might not know this, but you have in some shape, way, or form. And if you see it in your life, you are in agreement to it and alignment to it. Even your displeasure with it still puts you in agreement and alignment to it. But when you agree and align to the higher frequency, in which there is no judgment, then you will experience this plane of existence without the bumps and bruises, the pain of the pain of the judgment and the weight that comes with the physical weight, that comes with all of the ideas and beliefs that you've held on to. Okay, I might need to scooch over. I'm just realizing. Okay, so you must now, and we say it pretty strongly, because of course we say you can always do what you like, but to move through this next, is it a chapter? Sure, call it a chapter for now. To move through this next chapter, it's going to require, and this is why we say must, it is going to require a stability. And you are not going to get that stability in the old. The stability is going to come in what has always been true, which is inside of you, and you can access any time without any need for anything. And this is very, very important, and it has been a central part of our message that we wish to continue to deliver, is that you do not need anything, not even this message. And we wish you to understand this and remember this in any time of need, that every single thing that you need is already within you. And all that is required is that you open to it and be present. And while you may use many tools in order to achieve this presence, so to speak, or to achieve your realization of this presence, so to speak, we also wish you to know it is in dropping all things that actually this presence is revealed, and that you are able to do this. So we wish you to know this, and this is of the utmost important. If we were only to ever say one thing that you would know and remember, it is this. It is the most important thing that you know and understand. It is that you have all that you need contained within this unit you call you. So this physical body you call you, this energy body that you call you. In this, you have all things, and you need nothing else outside of you. And this is our most important message. You might utilize other tools, what you would call tips and tricks. You might go far away on retreats. You might do many things. You might have spiritual practices, religious practices. You might do all of them. Eventually, you will find that you have to let them all go to experience the no-thingness, the divine aspect of self. And that doesn't mean you will never do these things or experience these things. You may do and experience them, but you will do them differently than you did before. That's not quite it. You will choose and you will express as your divine self more fully inhabits, more fully embodies what you call you. You will choose differently. Things will be chosen differently. And the you that you think you are, will begin to dissolve. And this is why it sometimes feels very hard as you awaken, because all the thoughts and ideas and beliefs about who you think you are begin to be washed away, like when the tide comes in and goes back out and all the shells come up and then they go back and you're like, where's all the shells? Where did they go? This is what I need. I need to collect shells. This is what I was here for. Like, if I don't collect shells, what am I here to do? And we would say you're here to be. And in being, you will be a beacon of light that you have always been. And this is the homecoming, and this is what is needed. And this is the anchoring of the light within your plane of reality, or your experience of reality, is this beam of light, or this being of light, this beacon of light. And in order to be the beacon of light, you must wash the dust off the windows, but first you have to see that the dust is even there. If you're a beacon of light, and you are shining out, and you see you're shining out of dirty windows, so they're showing me like a lighthouse with very dark windows and dirt on them, and you're shining your light, you might say, this is the brightest that I can be. But as you start to wipe off all the dirt, and even we would say the foundation shakes in such a way that the windows break, and you think, oh my gosh, who am I without the windows? A lighthouse without windows? That's crazy. It's insane. This is who I am. This whole lighthouse is who I am. You're breaking who I am. You're destroying who I am. But you see, that's the light, right? That's how the light gets in. The crack, you know that there's a poem, right? What's it called? Okay, I have to move back. But that is how the light gets in. I'll leave a link for the poem. And this is what they're saying now. When the windows in the lighthouse break, you think, how will I weather the storm? And we are going to tell you exactly how you're going to weather it right now. As the earth crumbles, as you see the things break, as the parts of yourself begin to dissolve, as you sit in the chaos, as you sit in the dark, as you sit in the void, in the dark night of the soul, all of these things you would call it, as you see the collective undoing, the collective crumbling, and the ground shakes and the windows break, you will see that your light shines even more. It gives you the opportunity for the light to shine even more as you let go of the idea that you ever needed these windows of the lighthouse to be a lighthouse at all. Wasn't your purpose. Your purpose was actually that the lighthouse shakes so much that the walls come crumbling down. And as they do, the light that has always been here, that never needed this lighthouse to begin with, emits, and that is the stability. It doesn't matter, you realize, it doesn't matter how much the lighthouse crumbles, how the windows break, how much dirt you remove. It doesn't matter if the walls break and the ocean crashes on the rock where the lighthouse is. The light is still there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need the house. It doesn't need anything to protect it. Nothing can harm the light. And so many waves could crash, and that light is still going to shine brightly. And that is what everybody in the collective begins to see and begins to know. And when one person starts to wipe the dirty windows, change the windows, have the windows shake and break, and have everything come crumbling down, and their light shines even more brightly, you will see, oh, so this was the purpose. It was never to be a lighthouse. It was to dismantle the lighthouse altogether, to know the light. And to know that the lighthouse itself was also light, but it was built in a plane of existence that had that was fed, that the inhabitants were fed ideas and beliefs that they must create this lighthouse to contain the light. They must create this lighthouse, and some even, we would say, created this lighthouse to create separation, and even some religious beliefs or philosophies may also create a separation between you and source, but there is no separation between you and source, you and God, you and all, whatever you wish to call this. It matters not, because there are no words that accurately describe it. As you know, we have said many times, this is the purpose for all of this to crash. I don't want to say it. I'm like, can I have another word? They're like, no, crash and burn. It is okay. It's only the small self that has a problem. Because the light that you are weathers any storm, and in fact never needed the lighthouse. You were told you needed this protection. You were told you needed this lighthouse in order to live here. We would say, when all these ideas and beliefs, and that's what the lighthouse is, it represents all of the ideas and beliefs about who you are, and when it is dismantled, and who all is, and when it dismantled, everything is just light. And even though all the pieces break, you see them for what they have always been. Light made into form. And when they are seen, and this is very, very, very important, and when they are seen, when you are looking down at the ground, at everything in the rubble, in the ruins of who you were, fallen apart, and when you see all of that as light, it transmutes it. So any pain, shame, guilt, anything that you think I'm amazing because this is what I am, this is what I do, all of it's going to crumble. It's okay, it's okay. And and they're soothing it. They're doing it like this. And I think they're doing it for me too. Like it's not just you, it's me too. This is soothing, it's okay, it's okay. You are okay. We're not even going to say you will be okay because you already are okay, because you already are this light. You are this beacon of light with this false lighthouse built around you. And now you're going to see that crumbling. And you know, it may be frightening, but you will also see within this, okay. And who is it frightening to? It's frightening to the personality self, but to the light that you are, there is no fear. And that is who you are, and that is your stability, and that is what you can connect into. And we want you to know that you can connect into it anytime, even though the lighthouse, and that's all the concepts and beliefs, is kind of like keeping you from being aware that you are this light. You think you are the lighthouse. You think you're all the concepts and beliefs. We want you to know that even though this is the case, you still, even with the whole lighthouse still intact, you still can know yourself as light. And this is really important because all it takes is presence. You take your awareness away from the physicality of the lighthouse, all the concepts and belief, and you bring it into the light that is here, and be present with what is here inside the lighthouse, beyond the walls and concepts, and it's already here. And this is so important. So many reasons, and I don't even know where to start with this, but what they're showing me is this. There may be times, and I don't know that this is for everybody, but it is for some. And there may be times in which you feel that you are unable to access or have connection with other people, other communities. You might be unable to access like a transmission, a video, whatever it may be. And even though you may not be able to access this, or you might feel like you're in the dark and there's like you feel hopeless, or you feel like depressed, confused, that this is still available to you. It's still always here and it's always available. And this is just so important. And this is just like the main message. This is, if there was only ever one thing, that we could say, it would be this. Do not allow anything to disempower you. You need not for anything other than what you already have and what is in front of you, around you, and more importantly, within you. And that is actually you. This light. Okay. They're gonna like, what would we call this? I call it like a sealing of this message. Is there better? Oh yeah, there is. It is that they're going to bring through an energy now that is of the truth. It is the energy that we all are. And all is to close out this message. And I say, Yorokoroto, I piautukua, say, Yu, Akia iku, ki, Siuku, apayetu, Akati, Shialukto, Sukia pakatai show, Siktine show, Inisiquata, Shukwatasi, I, Asoki, Aso show. Nianae shia woto so kia pakata so iata shinia so ikia pakata so iniasa kiata so ikia pakata so iniaina shai ikia pakai iniaya so kia pakata sai kia pakata so kia pakata se ese show. Anyway, se show akia pakata so chia pakata se kiana so shia pakata sa kia pakata sa shikia kata sakiata so shikia pakasai shi ala sala shari. Shanalai, sho iapaya rokoso, kiakatasai. Anaya sayatero koroso, tikarasaya takarasai, shiana karasai, shia oroktoso, piapasai, shiana kayaso, kiapakarasai, shiana sai shokiai, alainai, asainai, akainai sai, alai shai kai, siakaka sai, shiapakatoso. Anala sariu, sala shorishia, la shara shoriu, saya saikorishiu, supia. Anai so tikia pata shai kio pokara sai tikio rotikirese tikirese tikirese kirese shio. Anai so tia pakata sai la shio pukoto so kiata sai. Nia la shaya poroto sho payatia nasai. Nio koto sho amaya tara shai kai sai sisi koto tekora tekere teki ke atakato to sho kata teke shikia pakata to kosikia pakata saki o kata shai. Ani se kore teke shai o akabaya tai sho wikapa iki so. And I say, shi akai la shi wapalaniu. This transmission, Iokoroso Tokora, is received by you. Iokoroso Tokora and integrated. Iokoroso in what you would call perfect ways or embodied imperfect ways. Iokoroso Tokora to support you. Iokoroso Tokora as you realize Iokoroso that you require no support. Iokoroso Tokora. And that you are a pure beam ray of light, and you are the light itself, and you are manifesting as a lighthouse, but ultimately you have always been the light, and you will always be that light, and nothing will change that. Regardless of the manifestation that you take, whether it is lighthouse or other, and the manifestation that others take, lighthouse or other, there will always ever be light. One light. One divine light. And asai shokarate kiasa. And asai shokiasa. Okay, I'm just checking in to see if there's anything else here. With the deep love and reverence that we are holding you as you realize that all is being held in a web. If you would, in intricate web of frequency. Like, what is this web? Well, there are no words for it. Really? It is the web of existence. We are using the language for you, but you need not worry or think about that, because the transmission is done, and the frequency is shared, and all is known beyond the intellect, and there is an inner understanding, that is not an intellectual understanding, that has transpired here today, as you would call today, so you may leave your hat and your worries at the door, and everything else, because you are the glorious light. So our final message to you would be to go and shine. Okay, excuse me, please. Thank you so much to the guides for this transmission today. I don't know how you can feel, if you can feel how powerful that energy is. And of course, we're all experiencing it in our own ways. And it was so powerful, and so so hot, so warm. So love, 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 and love, love, love. Anasala Sharir. Okay, so thank you so much to the guides for sharing this transmission, this message today, this frequency today, and thank you so much for sharing in this experience with us. And as always, we are sending you so much love. Thank you.